Hey guys, how are you doing? We missed a week, but that's because I was on my vacation. I was cruising, getting some sun. But anyway, welcome to the Marital Toolbox. I am happy to be back. Of course, you don't see my sister here right now. She has unfortunately stepped away for a minute, but hopefully she maybe when she's back in town she can come do a sitting with or a seating with me. But anyway, so just welcome, here. I'm a little tongue, I don't know why I feel like I'm just a little tongue tied here. I think I'm missing my sister. That's what I think. I'm missing the absence of my sister. So I'm just like kind of, it's like kind of walking around with one shoe on. You're trying to find that one shoe on and you're limping and stuff like that. But nevertheless, guess what? They say the show must go on. And so thank you for watching the Marital Toolbox. I just want to just show great gratitude and appreciation for everyone that do tune in and do watch every other Tuesday. I come on at 5 p.m. and it's only a half an hour show. So I am so thankful and so grateful that you take the time to just tune in and just watch, just watch and just listen to the different various topics that come. Once again, I just want to say, if you ever have something you want me to talk about, a particular topic, you can email me. I'll put my email up once again. I put my email up so you can email me any questions. You can also reach out to me on Facebook. I am on Facebook. You can message me on Facebook in the Messenger. You can do all of that. And those that, you have my number, you can always text me. They always do. So I'm always accessible and easy to connect with if that's what you want to do. And so what I do is how I get my topics is, unless I'm led by God, when I'm looking over different topics and different things that I'm getting, I just randomly will pick like three topics that hopefully I will have enough time to discuss and talk about, and answer any questions. And once again, I always say this: we can agree to disagree, and we can disagree to agree. Okay, and so what I give is a type of counsel, and this is one thing I want to say about counseling. A lot of times people will counsel people and they counsel in a absolute truth. Okay, accepted is the word of God. Outside of that, the word of God is the absolute truth, right? But accept anything out of that. Counseling is really dealing with people's experiences, things that they have gone through and been through, things that they're experiencing in the past, have experienced past, present, things that they probably would experience going forward. And so so even on here in the Marital Toolbox, I was married for 25 years, so some things you're going to get a lot of my experiences and what worked for me, and what worked for me may not work for you. Marriage is one of those things, well, I won't even say marriage, I want to say relationship is one of those things that as you go, you grow. Okay. As you go, you grow and you find out what works for you, because what may work for me may not work for you. What communication style that I may have had with my husband, you may have to have developed another technique of communication style with your spouse. Okay. Anything that I talk about, it is based on if I talk about anything intimate, as far as intimacy, sex, and all of those things, I am talking about in the confinements of a marriage, okay, between a man and a woman and a husband and a wife. When I just want to just put that out there, when I'm talking about different things like that, as far as pertaining to intimacy and sex and different things like that, okay. And so you are welcome to take these things, these advices, and you applicate them. Marriage is a bunch of applications that you see what works for you, what fits best for your relationship. And that's why I always say relationship when it comes to marriage, because it's really the relationship that you're working on. The marriage is just, and which one of the things we're going to talk about, because I had a question I had a question about something pertaining to what I just said. And so I gave a little descriptive. I thought about it and I prayed about it, and I written down a little descriptive that I believe that I got by the Spirit of God concerning that. And so I just wanted to just say that and just appreciate you guys for tuning in every other Tuesday. I'm on, like I said, I'm on this Tuesday, so not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, I'm back on again at 5 o'clock, and I'm there for a half an hour. So we're going to get right into it. I have 3 questions. Probably one of them, probably a concern or two. About relationship and different things like that. So the first one, let's see which one I want to go with first here. First. Okay, here we go. Let's go with this one. It says, I got this. It says, I've been married now for 6 months. And I noticed things has changed drastically. I no longer feel like my wedding day. And they said, I don't know what to do. One of the things that I want to say when it comes to that, because I read this, I don't feel like my wedding day. So when I read that, immediately I tuned in on that. I don't feel like my wedding day. And this is what I got. I put down the difference between a marriage and a relationship. So one of the things that we need to understand, a marriage is an event that you prepare for, and a relationship is a friendship that you plan for. Okay. And the reason why, and I put down here the reason why I use the word preparation as far as a marriage. And I'm saying something because I'm culminating. I'm going to get to what the answer, to what my answer conclusion would be. And the reason why I use the word preparation when it comes to a marriage or the event that you prepare for, because when you think of the word preparation, is because everything you do is preparing. You're making ready for something that you're getting ready, making ready for something that's getting ready to happen. And that's what preparation does. It puts you in a position where you're bringing things together because you're preparing for an event, something to happen. And when you think about preparation, you think about arranging. And I'm saying something, if you listen, arranging, assembling, you're fashioning this day and you're putting everything you got into this day, and not realizing it's just really a day. And I'm saying all of that to say a lot of times you can put so much into the marital part, the preparation of the marriage, and not really leave yourself room for the planning of the relationship, because the marriage is only a one-day event. And I'm saying this because the person said, I no longer feel like my wedding day. A wedding day is a day where everyone experiences a euphoric moment. And when it comes to relationships are not always in a euphoric moment every day. And so I'm taken when you say, I no longer feel like my wedding day, you're trying to recap and recapture that moment of your wedding day, when in the relationship part that now begins after the marriage, that caption of that wedding day, them feelings, that happiness, that joy, it's not something that you're going to experience every day. And so it sounds like the person would want to live in that moment every day. That's only a moment, and it's only a temporary moment, where in the relationship you live day by day in moments. You have to figure out moments. You have to filter through moments. You have to go through challenging. You have to go through challenging moments. This is where the work comes. It doesn't take much work. Although the preparation it feels like a lot of work, you get over. The only reason why it's really overwhelming is because you have so many decisions to make, and a lot of decisions can make you feel overwhelmed. But with the relationship, it takes a lot of work. And the thing I want to say is about the relationship, I say relationship is a friendship that you plan for. And the reason why I use the word planning for that is, which many times couples at times is which I say seem to omit this part when it comes to the relationship part, because we put so much in the marriage. And what I mean by that is, you'd be surprised of me and Apostle of how many couples we have talked to, and a lot of people don't feel the need for counseling. That is part of planning. That is part of planning. Counseling, I am an advocate for counseling. It is part of the planning process if you are thinking about and you are preparing for marriage. Counseling allows you to assess where each of you are at that moment, where you're trying to go, what you're trying to do. You're talking, it's like brainstorming. And it's also, you deal with a lot of process of eliminations, what is and what's not, what's realistic, what's unrealistic, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to bring two people together to create a lasting relationship, which the vow says what? Till death do us apart. And so you're working on trying to create this union, this relationship. Besides, if you're a believer, you have things biblically that you're trying to work towards and you're trying to do to create an everlasting a marriage. So I put that in. So many couples at times, they seem to omit that part, and that's part of preparation. That's part of planning, preparing for the marriage, but don't plan for the relationship and don't put things in place. And that's what counseling kind of does. It does a lot of things, but it also puts things in place. Counseling also allows you to put things in perspective and in what the preparation of marriage don't do. As a matter of fact, when you're preparing for the marriage, in the event of the marriage, you're not even dealing with the planning of the relationship. You're not even dealing with that. Okay. And so, one, I would say marriage is just a day. Remember that marriage is just a day. It's here and over quickly. It's a moment to be remembered, not lived in. Although the marital part, the wedding day, will create memories that are lasting and things that you can fall back on and you can look back on, and those memories can help you fall deeper in love with each other and different things like that. But it's not something that you're going to live in that euphoric moment of that day every day, because you're dealing with now relationship. Okay, you're dealing now with relationship. It's not the relationship. It's not the relationship. And what I put, and I thought what was so good, I said the marriage is the cosmetics we put on the relationship to make it look beautiful. When you think about that, just think about that analogy. It's the marital part, you got, is so beautiful, but it's really the cosmetics of the relationship, right? To beautify the relationship, to make it look gorgeous, that you put on, right? That you put on to make it beautiful. And so, but when it's over, as I said, that day is over. It's like a woman, she has makeup on. And at the end of the day, she takes all of that off, because now, it's over with. And so now it's just her. And it's the same thing about relationship. The marriage is just the cosmetics. It just, the gown is just the beauty of everything. The reception is just the beauty of family and friends coming together to join you. The cake is beautiful. Everything is just gorgeous. It's just the cosmetics of the relationship. But then it's over. And so you say, I no longer feel like that wedding day. All of that ends. It ends, and it ends that day. I would say after the honeymoon, but no, we're not dealing with that. But it ends that day. Everybody goes their way, and it ends that day. In that moment, now I'm not saying that you can't relive that moment, because memories help you to relive different moments. I'm not saying, but you're not going to live that moment every day. So that's something you need to understand. It really has no bearings. The cosmetic really has no bearings on how you and him will overcome challenges in the relationship. Okay, it has no bearings on that. Okay, so I just wanted to say that. So always understand the marriage is an event that you prepare for, but a relationship is a friendship that you plan for. So I'm just listening to you, just hearing you say you no longer feel like that wedding day. So just understand that you're not going to be in that moment every day. And if I were you, at this moment, I really don't know. And I want to just say this, a lot of times I get these questions. I don't get all of the background information. So a lot of times I'm piecing together, putting together. Sometimes I'm even doing something that I don't prefer to preferably do assume. Okay. I try to create scenarios in my mind, of how things are, and the outcomes. I try to predict outcomes. That's what I try to do. Um, but you've only been married for 6 months. That's what you say. And you notice things change drastically. That's because that moment is over. And now it's time to deal. I won't even use the word deal because deal can sound so. And now it's time to work on being connected with each other and work on the relation part of the marriage. Okay, so if you find this difficult or challenging, I'm not sure if you spoke to, and I always assume that the people that send me is watching. I don't know. Then again, they not. Maybe they will later. I don't know. So preferably it's helping somebody or anybody. I don't know if you spoke to your spouse. I don't know about that. But once again, I'm an advocate of counseling. But my first thing is speak to your spouse, talk it over. Don't let this settle, and don't let this dwell in you, because it can become a bitterness. If you keep on, something like this can become very bitter. It can become bitter. It can become bitter between you and your spouse. It can cause you to go to look at your spouse in another way, because then it comes the blame game. You're not making me feel, when it's not really it's not really an external something you're going through, as much as it is something internally, because it's a expectation that you're looking for. And from the sounds of it, I'm just going to go out on a limb here. It's really like an unrealistic expectation. Okay. Because what you're trying to feel is not a feeling that's every day. It's a feeling when you're in a relationship that you work towards at creating. You create that moment. The moment that you're trying to feel is a moment now in a relationship that the husband and wife have to work on creating every day. You have to create those moments. You have to plan for those moments. You have to give opportunity for those moments and those feelings, the feeling that you're trying to feel. So I hope that helped there a little bit with that. Okay. All right. So let's see. Okay. The next one I want to go over is here go one. I picked this one. My husband seems to be acting a little withdrawn from me. What are some things that could be happening? Once again, I don't get all of the background, so can't really say for a fact what are some of the things that could be happening, except that I don't know if you converse with him or if you talk to him. And then I don't know how far along your husband is in deep, where he's even in a place to converse. Because one thing about a man, having been married, I'll give you my experiences, when a man shut down, or when my husband would shut down, there was no communication. So I had to figure out ways to communicate. And in me figuring out those ways to communicate, one of the things that worked for me is I always had to, I'm going to say, create like a safe space for my husband. I always had to create a place where he would feel from me non-threatening, that I'm not giving off non-threatening vibes, that I'm creating it for him a safe place. Because listen, a place where he can talk. That's what I want to say. A place where he can talk, where he can open up and he not feel judged. So I had to kind of, like, for me, what worked for me, I had to create a space of a non-judgment, a judgment zone. So a lot of times, it would be me coming with an olive branch, like, that white flag, like, let me just wave the flag, put my hand in first through the door in the room and just wave the flag to let him know that I come in peace. Because what my witnesses with my husband is, because of how I was and who I was, with him, with a man, part of their shutting down and it withdrawing is because, okay, they're having a conversation themselves, and because they're familiar with you and they have come familiar with how you're going to respond, how you're going to act. So part of that shutting down can also be, and that withdrawal can be because they already know what you're going to say. It's not so much of what you're going to say as much as it is how you're going to act and how you're going to respond. Okay. And so it's already played in his head. Okay, he talks. Okay, here go her response. So it's no need to say anything. And that feeling would make him with him would be withdrawn. And sometimes it wasn't even a lot of times of what I was saying or doing as much as it was what he might have thought to himself, or maybe he had experience with me and he carried that experience with him and he just used it for every little thing, or whatever the case may be. So I'm not sure if you spoke with him or talked to him, or if he's in a place to even talk. So the first thing, I'm big on communication, is trying to just talk to see what the problem is. And so one of the things that I did put down, I don't know what the whole scenario is, but whatever the case, I put down 3 things a man need. So outside of many things, 3 things a man needs. And one of the 3 things that I put, maybe you can find yourself in here, maybe it's something you need to assess. I put respect. I put to be desired and feel desired, and I put affirmation. Okay, I put affirmation. The reason why I start with respect. Okay, a man needs that. He needs to respect. So look at that area. And when I say respect, it's not so much of you being disrespectful as much as another word for disrespect is regard. Okay. Are you regarding him, or are you disregarding him in different scenarios and different situations? Okay, that could make him feel withdrawn, because there's a reason why he's feeling withdrawal. If he has not spoken, or if it's not nothing else going on behind the scenes, okay, and you feel that the withdrawn is something that's with you and him, then you have to look at yourself, okay, and you have to assess yourself. And it's not necessarily something that maybe you're doing, but look at yourself, because you feel like he's withdrawing from you. So if you feel like he's withdrawing from you, then you have to look at yourself and think, is there something you do? So I would start with respect, not as far as you're being nasty or anything like that, but how do you regard him? Do you regard him as the man that you say he is? I don't know if you're a believer. I don't know if you're an unbeliever, but regardless of whether you're a believer or not, the position of a man is ahead. I don't know how you regard him. I don't know what the relationship is. Just little different things with the father, between him, his relationship with his children. Or do you interfering with that? Like, how do you regard him? Do you regard him in decision matters? How are you regarding, are you disregarding him in any kind of way? So you have to look at that. Do he feel disrespected? Are you making him feel that kind of way? So dilly and dally with that as far as respect, okay? So we think of regard, we think of recognition, we think of appreciation. And when we think of when I said disregard, are you ignoring, are you discounting? And I use the word recognition with respect. Recognition, acknowledging their admission of who they are. I just said that. And then I used the word appreciation. Appreciation is gratitude is another form of appreciation. Are you returning the same kindness? Do he feel like always the giver? Although the man is set to be the head, and it's his position to take care of the house, the home, the provider, and all of those things. But even in that, as a giver, I'm a giver myself, but even in that, as a giver, being a kindness, is it being returned? Because sometimes the pro and con of that, of the man's position, because the woman, the wife, especially if it's in her head, well, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. And so the con of that is, that's what he's supposed to do. But sometimes, don't forget to reciprocate. Are you feeling his love tank? Okay. Are you feeling his love tank? Withdrawn can be maybe he's feeling empty. Are you feeling his love tank as well as he's feeling yours? Or are you giving back? So the pro of it is he is the head and he's strong and he's doing what he's supposed to do, but are you reciprocating? So it's a lot of things, because I don't know the whole case, a lot of things why you could be feeling he's being withdrawn from you. So you have to go and assess you. You have to internalize this stuff, and you have to really see, are you doing everything? And, you just have to figure it out, with that, okay? With that, so I would just say that, that. And the second thing is to be and feel desired. That goes along with the appreciation. We as wives, we look for our men to initiate. Okay, we look for them to initiate. We look for them to come forward first and initiate a lot of things. And that could also mean intimacy as well. And so, like I say, are you reciprocating? Are you making him feel? It is a man, he needs to feel desire. Listen, he needs to feel wanted. Okay, because he's already been positioned, been put in a position by our Creator God, our Father, to be in a position as a head, to be the giver, to be the strength, to be that, okay, what God has created him to be. And so he's almost created by God like a machine. But this is what you also have to understand too. God creates the woman. Help me. Okay. And so that machine, think of that machine needs to be maintenance. And that's where you come in at as his wife. Are you maintaining the machine? He can't be the machine and the maintenance person at the same time. So sometimes there are little things that he can find out, if he get a flat tire. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, I got a flat tire, so he'll feel that, but there's some things that as a wife, that we are the nurturers and we have to maintenance. Okay, so are you maintaining his needs? Okay, so to feel desire. The last thing is an affirmation, affirming him, affirming who he is. Because sometimes that can get lost in his job as a husband. That can get lost. That can get tossed to the side because, like I said, it's like he's a machine, created like a machine to go, and ba. So are you stopping? Are you slowing him down and you're affirming him, speaking to him? Talking to him, because a lot of times as a man, as a machine, sometimes they don't get that, but you have to give that to him, affirming him of who he is, reassuring him. They need that. Okay. They need that. And so, I would say, once again, you have to figure out why he's being withdrawn from you. Okay, so that's something that you have to look at within yourself. So I hope that kind of helped out a little bit on that, if you're on, or helped out a little bit with anybody. Okay, on that. So I'm not going to do my last one because that's like a whole thing right there. But what I want to say is, I always have my lasting notes. These are food for thoughts. Okay, and this is to my ladies. Okay, I want to leave this with you, and I want you to leave this for a food for thought. Okay, ladies, you're not a side chick. You're not a bad chick. You're not a round the way chick, and you're not even a secret chick. But you are wife material to be a husband's main chick. Okay, so remember that. Think about that. Chew on that. Okay, because there's a lot of chicks out there, but you want to be a husband's main chick. And so I pray that's something that was said to help someone out there that is listening. Pass the information on. Maybe you may come across someone that is dealing challenge with these topics that I just said. Please, once again, you can reach out to me on Facebook, message me, however, and send your questions, concerns, or topics in. Nothing is off the table. I will talk about anything. I will tackle anything. to the best of my knowledge. And so, once again, I just want to say thank you. I'm so grateful for you that tune in. So, thank you for joining me in on the Marital Toolbox. I'm on every other Tuesday, not this Tuesday coming, but the following Tuesday. I'm on from 5 to 5:30 on Cas Radio. Okay. So, thank you once again for joining me. I pray that you have a blessed day. Okay. Bye bye.